Okay, well, welcome everyone. It's Nicola Cairncross here, and we're still in the period between Christmas and New Year. And that is the time when everyone's thinking about how they can do things better next year. That's a lot of conversations that I'm having at the moment. I don't know if you know this, but I'm a voracious reader, an absolute voracious. I've taught myself everything from reading books. Now, I know that some people don't like to read, and the good news is that most books are now available, business books particularly, are now available on Audible. In fact, my own Money Gym book is available on Audible. You can actually listen to, if you're, as you're driving around, you're doing chores, perhaps you can actually listen to business books to teach you the things you don't know about what you need to know in your business. So I thought I'd share 30 of my favorite books. Let's see if we can do it under 30 minutes. That'll be quite good. And yeah, these are the books that really would give you an entrepreneurial MBA, if there was such a thing. You will know more than most MBA graduates, especially if you've got the practical experience of running your business as well. So let's crack on without further ado. Right, here we go. Just tell you very, very quickly about the book that had the most profound influence on my life. It was the book Swimming with Piranhas Makes You Hungry by Dr. Colin Turner. And there was one small drawing in there that changed the way I looked at money forever. He also recommended in the back of that book, the mighty 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And I went on to that from Dr. Colin Turner's book. But I actually did a review of Swimming with Piranhas Makes You Hungry. And 10 years later, I got an email from Dr. Colin Turner saying, thank you so much for the review and how much difference it had made to his sales. And also, would I like some free copies of the book, which he gave me to give to my clients? And would I like an interview? So I interviewed him, and that interview is on YouTube, and I'll put the link to that interview at the end of this video. So do hang around for that, because that was a really great interview. I didn't know he grew up in a caravan park in Scotland. Fancy that. So here you go. Let's start with the books. Okay, number 1, Ready, Fire, Aim, 0 to 100 million in no time flat, Michael Masterson. This book shot straight to pole position when I read it on the advice of one of my mentors, and it's written by one of his mentors, and he described the concept of your lead product and how without your business being able to profitably sell your lead product, you haven't got a business at all. You've probably heard me say that. Many small businesses don't know what their lead product is. It's got to be something that is an easy buy for people and that introduces people to your business. There are some core questions in there that I ask of every mentoring client I work with, and you should be asking of yourself. Here's another legend, the E-Myth Revisited, why small businesses don't work and what to do about it. It's a classic and still as effective today. I actually put all of the principles in this book into place when I bought my 12-bedroom hotel in Worthing, boutique hotel it was. The other thing it does is it really, by creating a system and systems manual on how we do it here, it stops you having to manage people, because if you've got a very clear-cut step-by-step system for people to follow, then you never need to tell them off if they're not doing things right, because you just say to them, I can see that we're not following this step. What's the problem with it? Do we need to upgrade the system somehow? 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Stephen Covey, number 3. This was the first personal development book I read after Swimming with Piranhas Makes You Hungry, and it had a profound impact on me. For the first time in my life, I began taking responsibility for the things that had happened to me, or more particularly, the way I'd reacted to the things that had happened to me. And I still try and live by some of the concepts I remember from that book. One of the concepts was being to do what is right, not what is easy. And that's not always easy, actually, but it actually means you live by integrity, which is a great way to do things. Number 4, Rich Dad's Guide to Investing, Robert Kiyosaki. What an eye-opener that book was. The funny thing was I had a coach for about a year and a half, and she kept trying to get me to read this book because she knew that it would turn my notions of the finances of running a business upside down. But I resisted and resisted and resisted. And it was actually the most life-changing book on money I've ever read. This is fantastic. Number 5, Synchronicity, The Inner Path of Leadership by Joseph Jaworski. It's not only a rattling good read, because I read it on a sunbed in Greece, but it's actually a very moving book. And it also is the one where I got the concept of the entrepreneurial traps from. He actually lists some out in that book, and I've picked out the ones that resonated for me most. Number 6, E-Myth Manager, Why Management Doesn't Work and What to Do About It, Michael Gerber. One of the best books I've ever come across on how to recruit effectively, how to attract the right kind of people for your business, how to set your expectations and discover theirs, and how to foster an entrepreneurial spirit in your employees. This is just such a great book, and nobody knows about this one. You always hear the E-Myth being talked about, but not the E-Myth Manager. Number 7, strikingitrich.com. If you're inclined to an online business, this is a must read or listen book. She gives the profiles of 23 incredibly successful websites you've probably never heard of. And although it probably a little bit dated now because it was written in around 98, 99, but actually the most successful websites have still got one thing in common, and that is a directory or a membership model. And actually those are still, I literally just spent the morning talking to my sister Sarah about her long-held idea for a directory site, and I hope she's going to move forward and take action on that in 2023, because it is just the best way to make money online without having to spend too much of your time in person. Okay, this is a really good one. Take Yourself to the Top, Laura Berman Fortgang. Probably one of the first books I ever read about coaching. And in her inimitable, down-to-earth, no-nonsense style, she teaches you how to get on in business, how to network effectively, how to choose who to network with. It's really, if you're in a business where it involves lots of pressing the flesh, as they call it, then it's a fantastic book on how to network effectively and enjoy it. And read it alongside Love is the Killer app by Tim Sanders, because that's a great book on how to make an impact after you've met someone. And I really like that, both of those together. Number 9, The Portable Coach, 28 Surefire Strategies for Business and Personal Success by Thomas Leonard. Thomas Leonard was the grandfather of coaching. He went through loads of personal development programs and then put the best of what he'd learned into this book particularly, which launched his career really. And Coach University, which I attended, and all of the other coaching companies came after Thomas Leonard's Coach U. It was the first brilliant coaching program. It was him that introduced me to One Shopping Cart, which was groundbreaking in 1999-2000, and enabled me to grow my mailing list from a 5-page website. The mailing list has stood me in good stead thereafter. Number 10, The Sticking Point Solution, 9 ways to move your business from stagnation to stunning growth in tough economic times. This is an absolute must read for this kind of climate. Because if your business is struggling, it takes you through how to identify what's wrong with it. On that topic, don't forget to watch my How to Triage Your Business video, which is a pretty short version of how to work out what's going wrong with your business, especially if it's online. But if you've got a more traditional real world business, then this book's the one for you if things aren't working out as you'd like them to. Number 11, Driven, How Human Nature Shapes Our Choices by Paul Lawrence and Nitin Noria. It draws on scientific proof from all sorts of people through the ages about what makes us as human beings, what drives us, and how that makes us behave when we're interacting together. There's 4 main independent drives: to acquire, to bond, to learn, and defend. The drives themselves, as they emerged, have actually shaped the way our brains have further developed. And it's a really good book for working out what drives people. And, you know, if you have to deal with clients, if you have to deal with employees, absolutely a great book to read. And following on from that, number 12, this is a book that nobody I talk to has ever heard of, but it's just the best book on how people act tribally. And if you're in a big organization, this will really open your eyes. It's called Great Boss, Dead Boss: How to Exact the Very Best Performance from Your Company and Not Get Crucified in the Process by Ray Immelman. And it was recommended by one of my mentors after hearing how much I love Driven. He said, this is the next book on from Driven. And it's written in a story-like style, which I found a bit challenging at first. The first few pages were a bit difficult and I didn't really understand what was going on. But after that, it moved into a really gripping read that taught through, you know, stories and metaphor, all the things that drive people in an organization and how people act tribally and how you need to know how that all works. So if you read E-Myth Manager, you read Driven, and you read Great Boss, Dead Boss, then you'll really be in an incredible position to run a business with people in it. Number 13, Focus, The Future of Your Company Depends on It by Al Ries. This is absolutely brilliant. I mean, this is like the one thing. It was the first book of that kind. And it's absolutely amazing, especially for someone like me who sees so many opportunities and who wants to go in lots of different directions. I have to really force myself to focus, and I think this book has been instrumental in me being able to do that. Okay, another J. Abraham book, Getting Everything You Can Out of All You've Got, What to Do When Times Are Tough. Another book that's going to be absolutely brilliant for businesses in this difficult time. So, most certainly a recession, if not a depression coming. All manufactured by our governments, by the way, and the central banks. But this one is on business bartering. It's not just about that, but that's just one of the brilliant chapters in it. And I bartered internet marketing for PR services, and I also ended up driving a Mercedes soft top convertible car, which was one of my dream cars. But I actually managed to do a 3-way barter to get the use of that when someone went to America for a couple of years. So absolutely fantastic book, that one. Number 15, Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion. Anyone who's in marketing and sales must read this Robert Cialdini book. It was shameful how long it took me to get around to reading this classic. And of course, when I did, I loved it. He actually wrote the book to help people avoid being influenced by sales and marketing people. But of course, that's turned itself around and reversed itself, and it's become a marketing classic. Any internet marketer worth their salt has invested in Jeff Walker's product launch formula, and so Influence will feel like an old friend, because Jeff Walker based quite a lot of his product launch formula psychology on this book. Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell, The Story of Success. It's absolutely fantastic, and it's famous for introducing the concept of everything taking 10,000 hours to get good at, which is probably every weekend and a couple of evenings for 10 years. And it's all about how it's the people who really succeed are not necessarily the people who've got the most talent. It's actually a combination of intelligence, which is both IQ and emotional intelligence, luck, opportunities and timing, cultural context, and hard work, the much reported 10,000 hours. It uses some really great examples and anecdotes, and I really thoroughly enjoyed that book. Number 17, Building Wealth from Rags to Riches Through Real Estate. I find it very difficult to say that without a cheesy American accent, but this is the book that taught me how I could buy a 12-bedroom hotel, £500,000, no money down. And this book is just inspirational about that. And did you know that an awful lot of businesses can be bought no money down as well? So you can actually build your empire. You can buy businesses that complement your existing business. You could buy a business to get started with, and do all of that no money down, because it's all about how when motivated sellers are selling something and they can't get what they want for it, how you can use that ethically and kindly to get yourself into a business that you can make money from while giving the vendor what they want to. Absolutely brilliant book. Number 18, Creating a Bug-Free Mind and Using a Bug-Free Mind by Andy Shaw. Andy's a real utter genius. He really is. He's a property multimillionaire. He's a personal development author multimillionaire. His 2 books, one of his Money for Nothing and Your Property for Free, is an absolute property legend. And then Creating a Bug-Free Mind and Using a Bug-Free Mind is what he wrote after he lost everything in the crash of 2008, 2009, 2010. And I interview him on this channel. So if you do a search on my channel for Andy Shaw, you'll find a 2-part interview with him, which goes over an hour and a half. And really, you'll hear his whole story of self-discovery, of business discovery. And these books, honestly, they keep me sane. When I went to Greece a little while ago, they're the only 2 books I took with me, because I like to read the physical copies. I find them so much more effective for me. But he's actually turned the books into audio and also videos. So if you're a person who doesn't like to read but likes to watch video, you can watch the videos for free. Some of them, quite a lot of them actually, on his website at bugfreemind.com. And if you like to read, I'd get the books and hold on to them forever and draw lots of lines underneath things and highlight things. These will change your life, these books. They are all about create a bug-free mind. And that's an ongoing process, and then how to use a bug-free mind to create the life you want and dream of. And he has affected people positively in over 150 countries. I'm very keen on him, as you can imagine. Number 19, Traction, Get a Grip on Your Business. I think I've talked about this in one of my videos about how to run a company effectively, how to create a little 2-page business plan, how to timeline your business goals so that you can avoid burnout as an entrepreneur. And it's absolutely brilliant book. I would really recommend it. It's written like a personal development book, but there's also a story version. So if you prefer story versions of things, his story version is called Get a Grip: How to Get Everything You Want from Your Entrepreneurial Business. But I personally preferred the traction version because it wove in the sort of practical how-to in with some great stories as well. Number 20, Predictable Revenue by Aaron Hall. If anyone is in sales and marketing, you have to get predictable revenue. It's just fantastic. Aaron Hall took Salesforce from a little software company to a mighty behemoth of a business. And he tells you not only how to zone your time and how to do sales and marketing differently, but how they fit together. And he also teaches you how to put together a sales machine that will bring in predictable revenue. And it really had a massive impact on me, this book, and I've used it ever since. 21, Your Biz, Your Way, Learning to Trust Yourself. This is my previous business partner. Well, first she started as a client, then she became my business partner in the Money Gym, and then she became my co-host. Own It, the podcast, Your Business and Your Life. And it's absolutely amazing podcast. She's an absolutely amazing person. She was an accountant first, then she was a financial director for years, working with many diverse businesses and lots of restaurants. And some of her clients have gone on to become household names. You'd know who they are. But now she coaches small business owners, usually women, but not exclusively, and specifically artistic types. That's who she works really well with. I used to call her my iron fist in a velvet glove because she used to coach me very, very gently, but very, very directly. And I like it like that. So number 22, 7-Day Startup. You Don't Learn Till You Launch, Dan Norris. This book is fantastic. It's straight talking, practical, and it's all round awesome. And I launched my Clicks and Leads agency was based on this model, and I launched in 7 days, exactly what he says. But also there are other great businesses I know, highly successful. BeanNinjas.com, virtual accounting firm, you launched using this book. Dan's own WP Curve, which he subsequently sold to GoDaddy for multi-millions, presumably. And then he launched and started to build the fast-growing Black Hops Brewery, which is his latest business, which is doing incredibly well. So he walks you through what to do on each day of your startup. And he comes from a startup background himself as well. 23, Essentialism, The Disciplined Pursuit of Less by Dan McEwen. I am practicing now, and it's a bit like The One Thing. All of these books keep you focused, but Essentialism makes you try and remember that less but better. That's the theme of that book, less but better. Number 24, a must for any entrepreneur who is running their own money. Profit First, a simple system to transform any business from a cash-eating monster to a money-making machine. It turns the traditional methods of running a spreadsheet for your business, a cash flow spreadsheet for your business, slightly upside down. If you're working your ass off and making money but don't feel it's coming to you personally, then this book is for you. It's a game changer. It's not great for a business that's going to be a massive startup and look for investors. It's fantastic for lifestyle entrepreneurial business, though. Really get it. If you're struggling with your money in your business and you feel that you're working too hard and not getting enough rewards, this is the book for you. Number 25, Getting to Plan B by Mullins and Commissar. There's some life-changing concepts in here if you're feeling stuck. This book follows on beautifully from Ready, Fire, Aim, 0 to 100 million in no time flat by Michael Masterson, which was my book number 1 there. It really does follow on from that fantastically because it tells you what happens when you launch a business and it's not working. It tells you how to look at any business, assess it, and then work out how to pivot if you think you need to. Number 26, The Lean Startup by Eric Ries. It's a step-by-step plan to follow as a new business. So if you're in the researching and planning stage, I would definitely recommend you read The Lean Startup or listen to it, of course. Number 27, Work Less, Make More, James Schramko, who's my business coach for years. And he brings years of experience running luxury car sales teams and years of experience coaching some of the most successful online businesses on the planet. Straight talking, practical, down to earth. He will really make you think in this book about how you're doing things. So if you want to work less and make more, get the book by James Schramko. Spin Selling by Neil Rackham. This goes really, really well with predictable revenue. And it's all about the differences between selling low and high ticket items and how to do it well. I think I mentioned Love is the Killer App by Tim Sarders already, one of the most helpful books about how to get ahead, not just in corporate life, but in networking, and how to make people remember you after you've met them. Number 30, Key Person of Influence, revised edition, the 5-step method to becoming one of the most highly valued and highly paid people in your industry by Daniel Priestley. I really loved this book. It absolutely encapsulated everything I did with the Money Gym accidentally. So if you're looking to become a key person of influence in your industry and have all doors open to you and all people want to help you and partner with you and mentor you, then this book is absolutely fantastic for that. I highly recommend all of Dan Priestley's books, actually. They're very good. Right, let's give you some honourable mentions. The New 1 Minute Manager by Kenneth Blanchard. This is a book about managing yourself, how to have an empty diary and an empty desk so that you can respond to situations and opportunities as they arise. It's a good companion book to the E-Myth Manager, and you should also check out Who Moved My Cheese by Kenneth Blanchard, because that's a good one all about managing people as well. I hope you enjoyed this gallop through the top 30 best business books of all time list, the Entrepreneurial MBA, as I call it. And I hope that my personal feedback on why you should read each book has made you look at it more deeply, because obviously when you see lists of books, you think, oh, what have they got in it? You know, why should I read this one in particular? What's different about it? And I think each of these books I've chosen are different from each other and bring something unique to the table. And while you're there, you might as well check out my Money Gym, the Ultimate Wealth Workout book. Make sure you get the copy with the gold star on the front, which is the most recent version, and it's bang up to date. And also check out my book, Attract 3.0, How to Find, Attract and Convert Your Ideal Client or Customer. It's got a bit of a different layout to most books, but it also lays out my successful Be Everywhere online marketing concept. I've bundled that in with what used to be the Business Success Factory book. So you can get both books for one, and you can get them for free if you don't mind the digital version. clicksandleads.com/books. And then if you want to get the paperback version, you can actually go straight to Amazon. But as I say, I hope this helps. I really have found each one of these books incredibly useful and unique, and each book has propelled me further in my journey to become a successful entrepreneur. Let me know what you think, or if I've left anything out in the comments underneath. I'd love to hear any books that you think I should have included. I could even upgrade this to my top 50 best business books. You never know. See you tomorrow.